Okay. Now we will start. First question: check whether the following sets are subspace or not. Okay. For this is exercise number 1. Check whether the following sets are subspace or not. Or subspace or not. For a first question, S is your set. It is the matrix, so A, B, C, D belong to M2 cross 2 matrix, where this A, B, C, D belong to set. These are the integers. So you want to check whether it is subspace or not. For this, you take arbitrary element. So I take here 1, 1, 1, 1. Therefore, it is belong to, right? It is belong to M2 cross 2 because 1 is integer number. But about this value is half times 1, 1, 1, 1. So this is half. It is also half, half, half. But this half is not an integer. Therefore, this element, this matrix does not belong to S. Does not belong to S. So right. So S is not a subspace of M2 cross 2. Right. Hence, S is not a subspace of M2 cross 2. Okay. S is not a subspace of M2 cross 2. Another example, let X be a one of the set A belong to M2 cross 2 matrix. This determinants of A equal to 0. Check whether this set this set is a subspace or not. Okay. So let you take one of the matrix 1, 0, 0, 0. So another matrix B, 0, 0, 0, 1. So both determinants are 0. No? Both determinants are 0. What about the A plus B? A plus B as a usual addition. So 1, 0, 0, 1. So here, this now determinants of A, okay, so determinants of B, both are 0, no? Determinants of A, determinants of B, both are 0. Okay. Determinants of A, determinants of B, both are 0. Okay. Determinants of A, determinants of B, both are 0. So determinants of A, determinants of B 0, but determinants of A plus B is 1 minus 0 is 1. Thereby is not equal to 0. Therefore, this A plus B not element of this set. Right? Right? That means A plus B not an element of the set S. Hence, S is not a subspace. Hence, S is not a subspace of M2 cross 2. S is not a subspace of M2 cross 2. Okay. So next we move to the another problem. Right, move to another problem. Let S equal f belong to V, f of 0 equal to 0. Check whether this is subspace or not. So thus, obviously, you know that thus 0 function, you know that 0 function 0x, it is 0. Therefore, this 0 belong to S. 0 function, you already know that. Therefore, it's non-empty set. Next, you take two vectors. That means f comma g belong to S, and two scalar alpha comma beta belong to real. So alpha f beta g 0. So it is alpha times f of 0, beta times e of 0. So this is alpha times 0, beta times 0. So this is 0 plus 0, 0. Alpha f plus beta g 0 equal to 0 means this is alpha f plus beta g belong to S. Hence, S is a subspace of B. Hence, S is a subspace of B. Okay. Hence, S is a subspace of B. Next example. Sorry, next exercise. I think it's 3, no? Now, 4, you exercise number 4, you take let S is equal f belong to V slash f of 0 equal 1. Check whether, right? Check whether it is subspace or not. So let for, that means for any f of 0, yeah, for any values of this one, this function, take 1, you know, like this. You take f of x equal x plus 1. You put x equal to 0, then you get 1. No? G of x 1 plus x squared. If you put s equal to 0, then s squared also 0, then you get e of 0 should be 1. So these two are elements of this set. Okay, these two are elements of this set because this condition should be satisfying. F of 0 1 and e of 0 also 1. Therefore, f comma g belong to S. You want to check this condition, f plus g 0. So this one is f0 g0. Okay, f0 g0. Check this one, f0 is 1, e0 is 1, therefore 2. It's not equal to 0. Suppose this one also take 1, this one also, sorry, 1. This one also not this one also 1, then f comma g belong to S. But here is 2. Therefore, this f plus g that's not an element of the, it's not an element of S. Hence, S is not the subspace of B. Hence, S is hence S is not the subspace of B. Okay. Hence S is not the subspace of B. next exercise. Let be real number be the set of all bounded functions on real number. Be the set of all bounded functions on real number. So what is the condition for a bounded function? F is bounded if there exists M such that for all x, it is the bounded bounded definition. Okay, prove that. Your question is prove that set of all bounded function B of real number is a subspace of set of all functions f of real number to real number, right? Set of all function real number to real number, subspace of set of all function real number to real number. This is right, this is the set of all functions from R to R. Set of all function from R to R. Okay. So first one is, suppose, right, you take the function, the zero function, no? Zero function is set of x 0, right? Set of x 0, right? It's clearly bounded, right? It's clearly bounded. It's notation called as a bounded BDD. Okay, it's bounded as modulus of set x. This one is obviously 0, no? It's less than 1 for all x. For all x. So it is bounded. Okay. Therefore, this set is non-empty set. B of R is non-empty, right? B of R is non-empty. B of R of non-empty. Second one is you take let two functions f comma g belong to B of R, right? So f and g are bounded. Therefore, there exists m comma n. Okay, there exists m comma n such that, right? Such that therefore it is modulus of fx less than equal m and modulus of g of x less than equal n. Okay, modulus of gx less than equal to n for all x belong to real number. Okay, for all x belong to real number. For all x belong to real number. So my claim is you take this one f plus g is x. So you can use the triangular inequality for this part. this is fx plus gx. So you can use the triangle inequality here. So this is f of x plus g of x. So f of x less than equal to m is bounded function. Similarly, ex also bounded function n. So m plus n for all x belong to real number. Okay. This means this f plus g also bounded. That is f plus g is bounded. Okay. F plus g is bounded. F plus g is bounded means hence f plus g belong to b of r. Okay. F plus g belong to b of r. Okay. Therefore, f plus g is belong to b real number. Okay. Next, you want to check the third condition. Okay. So let f be r, right? F belong to br and a belong to real number. Okay. So you take this one, afx. It is afx. So it is, we can write modulus of a into modulus of xx. But f of f belong to br means f is bounded. Then we will write this one less than equal modulus of a into m. Right? Modulus of a into m. So therefore, this af also, therefore a belong to br. Okay. It means set of all bounded functions form a subspace. Okay. Set of all bounded function form a subspace. Then we can conclude that hence BR is the subspace of f real number. Okay, it's a subspace of f real number. Next question. It's exercise number 3. Okay, exercise number 3. let W1 and W2 be subspace of vector space V. Be subspace of vector space V. Prove that if W1 plus W2 equal W2, if and only if and only if W1 is a subspace of W2. W1 is a subspace of W2. So necessary part, suppose that okay, suppose that W1 is a subspace of W2. You take first this one. Okay. First, we will prove this. So first, okay, right. Here you want to prove the necessary part and sufficient part. For this direction is necessary part, and this direction is a sufficient part. Okay. First, we take right sufficient part. We prove first. We will prove the sufficient part. Okay. That you will take right sufficient part on this part first. We prove. You can prove this part first and this part first. No problem, right? To prove this both is okay. Suppose that is sufficient part. Suppose that W1 is a subspace of W2. W1 is a subspace of W2. Now your claim is you want to prove this condition W1 plus W2 equal W2. So you want to prove this one, you want to prove two things. Whether that one, this W1 plus W2 subset of W2 and W2 subset of W1 plus W2. That means this one. You want to prove W1 plus W2 subset of W2. So W2 subset of W1 plus W2. These two things you want to prove it. It is the beginning, right? So how we can prove this one? So you take like this. First we prove this one. Okay. First we prove this one. W1 plus W2 subset of W2. Therefore, you want to take the arbitrary element from this set. Okay. Arbitrary element from this set. That means let T belong to W1 plus W2. So there exists W1 plus capital W1 and W2 plus capital W2 such that we can write T equal W1 plus W2. Is it okay? T equal W1 plus W2. Okay. So W1 is a subspace of W2, no? W1 is a subspace of W2. So it follows that this W1 belong to W2, right? W1 belong to W2. W1 belong to W2. Okay. Therefore, and here you have T equal W1 plus W2. Here W1 belong to W2. W2 also belong to W2. Therefore, so altogether belong to W2. Okay. This means this you take first arbitrary T belong to W1 plus W2. We prove here T belong to W2. Therefore, W1 plus W2 subset of W2. This is the first condition. Okay. Similarly, we can prove W2 subset of W1 plus W2. It is second condition. We conclude that from this two, we have W1 plus W2 equal W2. Okay. Next, it's necessary part. Conversely, suppose that you take this one first. Conversely, suppose that W1 plus W2 equal W2. Okay. So we want to show that W1 is a subspace of W2. We want to show that W1 is a subspace of W2. So let W2. So you take two elements. Let W1 belong to capital W1 and W2 belong to capital W2. Then this one W1 plus W2 belong to capital W1 plus capital W2. We have here our assumption is W1 plus W2 is equal to W2, no? Therefore, as W1 plus W2 W2 equal W2. That means direct T belong to W2 such that we will write this T equal W1 plus W2. Okay, W1 plus W2. From this one, we will write this W1 equal, okay, W1 equal T plus minus W2. Okay, T plus minus W2. Here T belong to W2 and minus W2 also belong to W2. Therefore, this is belong to W2. So W1 belong to W2. Okay, W1 belong to W2. We assume that here, right? We assume that here, which one? We assume that here W1 belong to capital W1. We prove here W1 belong to W2 means that is this W1 subset of W2. W1 is a subset of W2. In particular, W1 is the subspace of W2, right? Because in the question they mentioned here, W1 and W2 are subspace, right? W1 and W2 are subspace. Here they asked to prove W1 is the subspace of W2. Therefore, you only need to show W1 subset of W2. Here, W1 subset of W2, W2 and W1 also W1 and W2 are subspace. Therefore, in particular that, right, W1 is a subspace of W2. Okay, W1 is a subspace of W2. Okay. Therefore, in particular, that W1 is a subspace of W2. Okay. Right. Now we will do the next question. So next question. Let let uh, let let B be the set of continuous real function continuous real function f on 0, 1 for which 0 to 1 fx dx equal to 0. There are 3 questions they will ask so that B is a vector space. Second question, so that the set of f for which the set of f for which this condition 0 to 1 x fx dx 0 is a subspace. Third one is the set of f in B such that 0 to 1 x minus fx dx 0, right? 0, a subspace of B, a subspace of B, right? They asked 3 questions. So there are three questions. First question, you want to show that B is a vector space. Second one, you want to check the subspace. Third one also subspace. For the first one, you want to check the 10 axioms, no? First one is closure property. Let suppose f comma g in B. Then you ask to prove f plus g also in B. F comma g in B means you can say this one. So it is 0 to 1 fx plus gx dx. So it is 0 to 1 fx dx, 0 to 1 gx dx. So f comma g belong to B, no, then should satisfy this condition. Therefore, it is 0, this is 0. This one 0 means this f plus g belong to B. F plus g belong to B. This f plus g belong to B means it satisfies the closed under vector addition, no? B is closed under addition. Thus, B is closed under addition. B is closed under addition. For next commutative part, let f comma g in B, f comma g in B. So you take this one, 0 to 1 f plus gx dx. So you want to show that this one equal to g plus f x dx. Is it easy? Because you can write 0 to 1. Yeah, it is your f of x plus g of x dx. Here, real function form of vector space. Then you can write gx plus f of x. 0 to 1 gx plus f of x dx. So it is 0 to 1 g plus f x dx. Okay, therefore here f plus g equal g plus f. Therefore this satisfies the commutative. Therefore this addition is commutative. Thus addition is commutative. Next, for associative, you want to take the three functions. Okay, three functions. For associative, okay, take let f comma g comma h in B. So you take this part 0 to 1 f plus g plus h like this x dx. So this one we will write 0 to 1 f plus gx plus h of x dx. So this is we will again write 0 to 1 fx plus gx plus h of x dx. You know that set of all function form a vector space. Therefore, you will write this one as a of the form fx, right? Fx g of x h of x. Here you can inside you can use the associative property. Okay, dx. So it is right. So it is 0 to 1 f plus g plus h x dx. So check this one here. Associative property should satisfy. Therefore, thus addition is associative. Okay, thus addition is associative. Because here f comma gh belong to h means this condition should be satisfying. 0 to 1 fx 0, 0 to 1 gx 0, 0 to 1 hf also 0. Then 0 means this one 0, this one 0, this one 0. You can write again like this. Okay. Next, you want to check you want to find the identity of B. Okay. For the identity of B is for an identity of B is let F in B, your identity is zero function. Is it okay? Zero function, zero, obviously continuous function in B. Okay. Okay. Zero function is continuous function, no? Right. So this should satisfy this condition. You check this one. So it is 0 to 1 fx dx, 0 to 1 0x dx. 0x means 0. So it is again 0 to 1 fx dx. This one again 0. So this one satisfy this condition. Therefore your the zero function is, sorry, see, your identity is zero function. Okay, your identity is zero function. Thus 0x equals 0 is an identity. Of B, because this zero function satisfies this condition. Therefore, this plus, similarly for 0 plus f, also you can get 0. Okay. So next one is you want to find the inverse. So 0 to 1 f plus your inverse, you take like this, f of minus f of x dx. So it is 0 to 1 fx plus minus f of x dx, right? So it is 0 to 1 fx minus fx dx. It is 0, that means 0x. 0 to 1 0x dx. It is 0. Therefore this one satisfy the, here is 0, it is the identity. Okay, therefore that is minus f of x. It is minus times f of x is an additive inverse of B. Okay, additive inverse of B. F is a continuous function in B, right? And satisfy this addition condition also, right? 0 to 1 fx dx 0. Therefore, here minus f is an additive inverse of B. For a next condition, closure property of the scalar multiplication. So let C belong to real number. Take this one, CF x dx. So this one we will write C times f of x dx 0 to 1. So 0 to here f belong to B. So f belong to B means 0 to 1 fx dx 0. In C times 0 0. Therefore this one satisfies this condition. Therefore CF belong to B. Thus scalar multiplication, it is closed under scalar multiplication. Thus closed under scalar multiplication. Okay, thus closed under scalar multiplication. Axiom number 7. Let alpha belong to real number f comma g in B. So this f and g are satisfying that addition condition 0 to 1 fx dx 0, 0 to 1 gx dx also 0. You remember that one. 0 to 1, consider this one. So it is 0 to 1 alpha fx plus gx dx. So integral, we will write this one 0 to 1 alpha fx dx 0 to 1 alpha. It is integral properties dx. So it is, you can take outside in alpha is concerned, no? Fx dx alpha 0 to 1 gx dx. So here it is alpha times 0, alpha time again 0. So therefore 0. So this is 0 means, right? This is 0. Now your claim is you want to show that this is one, this integral is one equal to which one? So this one equal to here this one equal to 0, no? Therefore you check this one also. Alpha times 0 to 1 fx dx alpha time 0 to 1 gx dx. So it is f belong to v, no? Then this one 0, this one 0, this one also 0 plus 0, 0. Therefore this one is also 0, this one also 0, and this one also 0. Therefore this one equal to this one. It is action number 7. Now action number 8. Action number 8. Let alpha comma beta in real number f in v. Okay. So 0 to 1 alpha plus beta f of x dx. So this is right, 0 to 1 alpha f of x dx beta f of x dx. So this one we will write 0 to 1 alpha times f of x dx beta times 0 to 1 f of x dx. So if f belong to v, no, then alpha times 0, beta times 0, this one 0. Similarly, you asked to show that this one equal to this one, no? Alpha times f of x 0 to 1 dx beta times 0 to 1 f of x dx. So it is alpha times 0, beta times 0, 0. Therefore both are 0. Therefore this one equal to this one. Now action number 9. Action number 9. Okay, action number 9. Action number 9. Action number 9. Let alpha comma beta in real number f belong to v. So you take this one 0 to 1 alpha beta f of x dx. It is, we can write here scalar, no? Then you can take outside alpha beta time 0 to 1 fx dx. This one obviously 0, no? There was 0. You asked to show that this one equal this one alpha times 0 to 1 beta f of x dx. You know, here beta also again scalar. Then this one we will write beta times 0 to 1 f of x dx. So alpha times beta times this one 0. Therefore this one equal to this one. This one equal to this one. Okay. Now action number 10. Okay. This unit property 0 to 1. 1 times f of x. It is obviously 0 to 1 f of x. No. Therefore this one 0. Therefore 1 is the unit values. Therefore 10 axioms satisfying. Therefore hence V is a vector space. Okay. Hence V is a vector space. Okay. Hence V is a vector space.